But then we devised our own ways of looking for young girls. So one time in church, I had moved to Nairobi, still a teenager. I had a target in church. And I thought the best way I could approach. So I went and bought a can of Brut, the only cologne I knew at that time. I sprayed the whole can on me and squeezed myself somehow, and I got to sit next to her in church. She never acknowledged me. I left church very disappointed. Dejected, I went home and said, what did I do wrong? But she never acknowledged me. Next time, there was one place where you could get a young lady. This was at Nairobi Cinema, which was at Uchumi House. Those of you who are older know that. So I went to Uchumi to a movie and targeted another target. I had borrowed my friend his motorbike, a 175cc Honda. And when she approached, I said, "You want to ride?" And, well, she said, "No, thank you." And I said, well, she would see. Most moviegoers used to go in front of Kencom House where they would take their bus. So I fired up the motorbike, went round in front of Kencom. I lifted the front wheel up. It refused to come down. The next thing, I found myself in a bank called First Bank of Chicago, which was right at the corner of Hilton and International Live House. The girl I really wanted was standing laughing at me. Was taken to hospital, but I recovered. And I tried other things, they didn't work. So eventually I went to study in the US. US was a complete different, something different I'd never seen in my life. Was my classmate approached me to take her to a movie. And I said, we don't do this in Kenya, but you would allow me to pay for the... She said, no, we would split the cost. Well, I struggled to understand this because I really wanted to be like my father. I wanted to be in control, to understand everything. That's how men used to be. So, finished my undergraduate and started working for a company as a financial systems analyst. It was my first real job I did. The other ones were cleaning toilets and other things. Yeah. So I decided I would go home. I was given 1 week to come home. And I said, I must go home and get a Kenyan woman, and I marry that woman. She would understand me behaving like my father. So I came, landed here, went to see my brother. My brother used to teach at, actually still teaches, a professor at the School of Medicine in Kenyatta National Hospital. So I woke up late, and I went to look for him, but he was in class. So I went to the cafeteria, the canteen. That's how it's known in Kenya, called cafeteria Americans. Yeah. And I sat there just waiting. Some two young ladies walked and asked if they could share my table. I said, yes, of course. Yeah, you can sit. And I asked them, what brings you here? So they said, oh, we are students. Oh, students, I should have known that. Okay. They asked me the same question, what brings you here? I said, well, I'm here looking for my brother. I want him to give me a car so that I go to look for a woman that I will marry. That's what I was meaning. So they say, what did you say that you would have said? I said, yes, I want to find a woman, and I have to go back this week, you know. And well, we kept on discussing other things. After a few minutes, one of them was answering my questions. So the other was skeptical. These guys who come from America and brag around here, they have money and stuff. So someone distracted this other one who was not interested. I said, I've gone through theatrics trying to find women. I've done everything. The only thing I didn't do is to speak, you know. So I tell this one, I don't have to get the car now. If you accept to marry me, we can start to... Of course, she blushed and giggled around. I was very happy with the giggle. So they said, the other one comes, we talk other things, but cut the story short, I got a date that evening. Yeah. In a place called Foresta Magnetica. So I went there, there were still two. And we chatted. I am now pressing that, well, the time is running out, I should be leaving. And eventually convinced that we should go and see the parents and other things. The days were running out. And so I actually succeeded, you know. The day before I left, I meet one of my relatives and I say, well, I came to get married. I actually got a woman. I'm now going back. Then we planned that she joins me. He said, which one? I said, oh, I know her. Oh, that one. She drinks a whole 750 ml vodka. A whole 750 ml vodka by herself. You know? I looked at him. I said, no, I'm going to stick with her. You know, there were other shenanigans. This happens in Africa, for those who are not Africans here. So I stuck with her, started planning for her to come to US. The Americans refused with their visa. So I said, well, try Canada. So she got Canadian visa, came to Canada to visit. So we could find ways of meeting in those northern countries there. Eventually, we got married. Got married, and still I'm trying to be like my father. But I had gone through several shifts that I had moved away from my father to somewhere in between, that she could call me as a senior civil servant, please remember to pass through Nakumatt and get 2 packets of milk. I could actually get them at night so that not one kissy can see me carrying milk. So I tried my best to be like my father. One of the tests that I did was there is those days when you sleep in a couch and you get a very nice, comfortable position that you don't want to distract. So I had gotten there, then I called her and I said, "Can you come down?" And she came and said, What do you need? I said, "I need that remote," which was... It was 2 meters away from me. She looked at it and said, and he said, "Is that what you called me for here?" And said, "You know where it is, stand up and pick it up. I don't know where you learned this from." So I swallowed that because nobody saw me anyway. So I said, "Okay." And we went to visit a friend. He's been married for 6 years. Friend was a really friend, an older man, older couple, and he was sick, and it started drizzling. Then he stood up, went upstairs, brought a sweater for his wife, and gave her. And I said, "Wow, this is love." So I kept that. So I waited after 2 months. I did the same. Don't clap first. She asks me, "So what did you do wrong?" And I said, "I would never understand women. I'm trying to be nice." And she's doing this to me. And so, in hindsight, there's a saying we have in Kishi that says, "A lion never bears itself." That I never became my father, but I am very happy in that state. It has been... It has been actually this year, one of the reasons I agreed to come here, it is 30 days since we met at Kenyatta. Oh, 30 years, not 30 days. So I said, we've been together for 30 years. Can you allow me to break one of the Kisi rules? Kisi men never kiss their women in public. So she decided to hide up there. So that, but nevertheless, I say thank you for shifting me to this current state. Thank you.